Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach Dresch. Perfect read once again. Oh, my. Hey, arts and entertainment appreciators. Welcome to this, the 275th episode. If you're checking out this show for the first time, we feature the people involved in A&E projects and productions, not simply the who, what, how much. We, of course, do mention that information, but our focus is having conversations with artists. Even when the art is being a public address announcer. BA Extraordinaire Randy Preston's on the show today. He has a very intriguing story about a Russian hockey player. Speaking of intriguing stories, Monstrous Little Theater, along with Goodnight Theater Collective, will present In the Next Room, or the Vibrator play. That will be next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the 8th, 9th, and 10th of May. And we're going to be joined by actor Alexondrea Thong Vahn and director Jan Luke about the intriguing precipice of the show. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Doesn't matter what you toast with, as we all have different tastes, we have different times of the day that we listen. So, as per usual, I'm having my Jasper Newton, a Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime, double tall. You might be drinking water, milk, coffee, tea, beer, wine, or champagne, and whatever your beverage of choice is, lift it high and toast to May Day. Yeah, first of all, hard to believe we're now 1/3 of the way through the year, isn't it? Now, May, yeah, pun intended, your day be filled with May baskets and kisses from those special ones in your lives that you delivered to. I do have a question, clarify. To what extent can that be taken to? Let's say I get a pizza delivered to me tonight, here on May Day. Am I supposed to run after the delivery person and plant a big old smooch? First of all, I can't run. And besides that, I have the feeling that the tummy will pull rank and remind me of why I ordered the pizza. Cheers to May Day. May yours be a great occasion and not a distress call. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers, West 12th and Ellis Road. Stop in for great food, great beverages, and fun times. Now, with the exception of this coming Monday, join us Monday nights at 7 o'clock for Dave Holly Hour Trivia. This Monday, however, I will be on vacation. The trivia will return on Monday the 12th, and this show returns then on Thursday, May 15th. So what made Dave laugh, chuckle, chortle, downright slap my knee silly, or even shed happy tears recently? Well, I tell you what, last night I had the privilege of emceeing the debut concert of the Fellowship Jazz Center Orchestra. Now, while I am by no means an aficionado of jazz, I am a great lover of jazz. First, the Mitchell High School Jazz 1 played a short set. The future of jazz sounds very good. Then the FJCO made everybody's toes tap. Oh, great music to celebrate the newly formed big band and their 1-year anniversary of this wonderful nonprofit organization. Later In the show, actor Alexondrea Thong Vahn and director Jen Luke tell us about In the Next Room, or the Vibrator play. Up next, we talk with Mr. Public Address, Randy Preston. Coming up on the Dave Holly Hour. Last month seems to have rushed right along. Hard to imagine it's time for another First Friday and Art and Wine Walk. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts on the second floor of the historic Shriver Square building in downtown Sioux Falls will be open until 8 Friday. So you can take in a very great event. Several artists will have their unique artistic abilities on display. It's a good chance you'll find something to take home. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Follow the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh, such a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. You know, sometimes sports kind of gets into the entertainment business as well. Lots of things go on at sporting events that are very entertaining, and sometimes that's not even just what they hire for entertainment. Maybe it's the voice, and we have the voice of many, many, many different things now. Randy Preston, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I am doing well, Dave. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fantastic. It's good to see you. Well, you, the last time we were here, we were talking about, you know, the Canaries and the Stampede and so forth, and you were getting into hockey again with
Yes.
Augie.
Yes.
And now you're filling in for Augie baseball and softball, too.
Correct.
Wow. Now, I know you've had, last time we talked about some, big dates and flag, red flag, not red flags, but, good flags, about days that were in particularly going to be great numbers and so forth. What's the latest accomplishment you've had?
Well, Augie hockey, Augustana University hockey, we got first year into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
3 games into the playoffs. That was 3 games I hadn't planned on doing this year. And that was a lot of fun. I think I've got now 20-ish Augustana University hockey games.
Excellent.
The Stampede is going to be close to 250 now. And Canaries this summer will be in the 700s.
Wow. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I saw something on Facebook that you had like your total PA that you had passed. What was that?
It's well over 3,000.
Wow. When you started, because all you did was you took your PA system to a kid's hockey game, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's how you got started. And then all of a sudden, wasn't it Gary Weckworth that said, hey, we need somebody for the Stampede?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of exploded for you.
It has.
Yeah. What was most surprising about this journey?
Gracious. I think the most surprising thing is really to me, the fan appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm me, I'm a pretty relatively humble guy. I don't like to do a lot of bragging if I can avoid it. But the fact that the fans, when I'm not at a game, I'll get half a dozen text messages from
Where are you?
Where are you? And why aren't you here? well, I'm doing Augie tonight, or I'm doing Stampede tonight, and can't do Augie, and people are asking, where am I at?
Yeah. So when you started with the Stampede, then that was it for that, wasn't it? So no overlapping of games or anything that you had to do.
Correct.
Yeah. So boy, it's been so fun to watch it all and how it has all happened. And congrats to you. And here's what I love, Randy, is the fact that the PA, the old-fashioned PA, is no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be entertaining. And I like you because you have that nice blend. It's not this over the top, like you don't have a microphone and you have to yell to 3,000 fans. So I like the way that you present it then.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and because that's always something, because I'm very much an old-fashioned PA guy. I was the now batting for the Twins, number 34, Kirby Puckett, not Kirby Puckett there, and I actually did get to do PA for a Legion game in the Metrodome.
Oh, that had to have been fun.
Oh, that was awesome, man. When you hear your voice go boom, boom, boom all the way around, pretty cool. Yeah. Biggest event you've been able to do?
The regional hockey event, the NCAA regionals at the Denny Sanford Premier Center last year.
Okay.
I'll be doing it again this upcoming season. I also got asked to do the Olympic curling trials coming up in November.
Wow.
So that'll be something different.
No doubt about that. Do you have to bone up on the sport of curling?
I have been told it's going to be the easiest PA gig I will have ever done. You basically introduce the teams at the beginning of the events, and then you sit back and watch curling for an hour.
Oh, man. Well, you know what's unique is who knows what that'll lead to then.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, because, there's a young man that's from Sioux Falls, Kirby Wolf, that was, in fact, I think he worked for the not the Stampede, or maybe he did those too.
Yeah.
But, I know he worked for Canaries for a little bit, doing some video and so forth. And he got to be like the hype videographer for the Olympics.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, really cool. He did quite well with that too.
Yeah.
So who knows, maybe you might become the voice of curling on NBC.
It would be very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Okay, so are they going to be broadcast at all?
I believe they are.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a whole lot of detail on it yet because it's still a few months away. But this was an ask by both the Premier Center and the Sioux Falls Sports Authority to have me come in and do the game or do the events. So we'll see how it goes.
And will you have to wear like official type gear, or do you get to wear your typical Hawaiian shirt?
I'm hoping to wear the Hawaiian shirt, but if I can't wear the Hawaiian shirt on the outside, it will be underneath the jacket.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, true, because you'll be next to the ice. So how many Hawaiian shirts do you have?
I believe around 20.
Enough to get you through a few weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a few specialty ones. I have 2 baseball Hawaiian shirts that are, and I was going to wear one today because I'm doing Augie a little later today. But it's, baseballs and bats and stuff,
right,
interwoven in a Hawaiian shirt. I've got 3 hockey Hawaiian shirts, same designer, same company. I now have a Grand Kitten.
Okay.
And my daughter ordered me a Grand Kitten Hawaiian shirt with the picture of the cat.
Oh, sweet.
So that'll be well into the realm of things here very shortly.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. And, you get those grands, and it's also cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure that someday you'll get then not just Grand Kitten. Yeah, a grandchild.
We'll find out.
Yes. Time will tell, won't it? Time's been very good to you, but there have been times within the time that, wow. I mean, we talked about this the last time you were here, was when you had the stroke. And it's like, man, because, I do happen to know your age, 1 year older than me. It's like, gosh, I got to get, I really need to start working on some stuff. But you Do you hold the world record for the fastest return?
It's got to be close.
Yeah. Because that was like, boom. Oh, hospital. Oh, out of hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, back behind the microphone.
Exactly. Stroke on Wednesday, back on the PA Friday night.
Yeah. Wow. Remarkable. Yeah. Was the crowd aware of that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They were made aware of it a couple days later with a couple of broadcast events that were done for me. I'd had I think it was 3 different television stations that interviewed me and talked about it. But that was quite interesting.
Yeah, very remarkable. So you're talking about, fan appreciation. That's a big thing. And have you noticed that the Sioux Falls sports scene is getting even bigger?
Well, it has to be because there's more going on now than there has been since I've started. I don't necessarily see fan numbers increasing, attendance increasing at the various events, but I'll know that on any given night there might be a Stampede game, a Skyforce game, an Augie hockey game, maybe a USF basketball game, and all of these things going on at the same time. So, and they all have people there.
All right. So you brought up basketball.
Yeah.
You're not currently doing
I have no interest.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say, since right now you're, filling in some softball and some baseball for Augie. Already have the big signed contract with a signing bonus, I'm sure, for the hockey. So they haven't approached you?
They have not. And I'm not a big basketball person.
Okay.
In much the same way I wasn't a big baseball person when I started doing baseball. But I have a really good friend of mine that does a lot of the basketball here in town. Okay. We were co-workers for a number of years, played golf together for a number of years. Yeah. And he's kind of got the basketball and the volleyball world covered here in town.
All right. So somebody's got it covered and you're happy with that.
Yes.
What would make you feel like, wow, I have made it as a PA extraordinaire? Because that's your new title here at the studios.
I actually had something happen a couple of weeks ago that...
Oh, do tell?
Yeah. So I'm involved in a couple of the Facebook groups for PA announcers. There's several of them out there. And one of the admins has become a pretty good friend of mine. My family and I went out to D.C. for a vacation a few weeks ago, and Jared happened to be working an event out there, and so I snuck up behind him, and we started chatting, and we had a really, really nice conversation, and it was the first time we'd ever met in person.
Right.
But when he introduced me to a couple of his friends, and Jared he's like pretty big PA guy out in the DC area. He does the Hershey Bears hockey team. He's involved in all of the hockey and a lot of the baseball in the area out there. And he introduced me as, hey, this is Randy Preston. Randy Preston is me from South Dakota.
Ooh.
So that made me feel pretty good.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, the compliments you get from colleagues are the ones that, it's nice when somebody will walk past you after a game and so forth. Oh, great job, Randy, great. But when somebody actually stops and tells you that someone that's in that business, that's huge.
Exactly.
So I can understand why you count that as being
that's a win. That's a win.
A definite win. So speaking of wins, that's always exciting in sports, especially if it means getting to playoffs.
Yes.
So you've had some playoff experience with, various things.
Mm-hmm.
Are there some that you have to change your approach because of, like tournament rules and so forth?
I've been told that for Augustana, now we only made the conference first round of the conference finals. If we would have gotten into the final round of the conference finals, the tenor of everything changes.
Right.
There are literally very, very few local advertisements that need to be done. It's all brought into place by the league or by the conference at that point. And so I can't say that I've necessarily experienced that, but I do understand that that would be something that would change. When I did the NCAA tournament, that was a completely different world from
Right.
what I'm used to. Everything was very, very specifically spelled out in terms of what you can say, what you can't say, when you can say it. And so, you don't get the job, you don't get the ability to improvise as much.
Yeah, because I know that I years ago followed Northern Colorado football, and had a friend that was the defensive coordinator there. And my brother, who lives out in the Greeley, Colorado area, was a pretty good sponsor and so forth for them. And he was telling me, he says, I can't get anything, no banner or anything when they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like all NCAA and national that get on there. So
Yeah, that's exactly what happened at the Premier Center. If you took a look at the Premier Center during that NCAA final or that regional 2 years ago, all of the logos on the ice are covered. The only thing that's still there is the center ice logo, the Premier Center logo. All the boards are covered. The only thing that's on the boards is the names of the teams. So it's a completely different look.
yeah, strange. How long do you prep?
Depends upon the sport.
Okay.
Hockey, Stampede, I have some stuff that I do at home prior. I'll download stats and take a look and check on pronunciations and things like that. Whatever information I can gather before I get to the building is always advantageous. I've taken some time to write a couple of spreadsheets that will help me do either scorekeeping or some PA work, so I don't have to do as much paper and pencil and looking at 3 different sheets of paper to get the information that I need.
Because when the referee, especially in hockey, comes over and says, such and such penalties, and then, goal assisted by, and all that. Wow.
Well, at the same time, for goals in particular, out at the Premier Center, I have a headset on. I've got 2 channels going on in my headset. I've got production where I'm talking to the people that are upstairs running the video, calling what ads are going to be played and that type of thing. And then I've got our scorekeeping on there as well.
Okay.
Our statisticians.
Yeah.
And so after a goal is scored, I'm on with the statisticians going, okay, verify this, please, because I want to announce the right thing. And the ref will come over and say, well, I think it was 17 from 12, but I'm not sure. And so, we're always in constant communication.
Official stats brought to you by I'm Not Sure.
Exactly.
That's awesome. What's been the toughest name you've had to pronounce?
Oh, gracious.
I'm assuming it was hockey?
It was hockey.
Okay.
A great little story about that. The gentleman's name was Artem Ivan Yushchenkov. He was a Russian national. He's nicest guy you'll ever meet in the world. But we used to call him the Mad Russian on the ice because he would get angry and get into penalty trouble or, beat somebody up. Artem's a great guy. But the first time I saw his name was out at the Iceplex for a preseason game. I am sitting down in the penalty box area. Artem gets a penalty. The pronunciation guide that was given to me by the team did not make any sense at all. It was obviously written by somebody who's never written a pronunciation guide. Okay, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And so I look down and I'm going, okay, it's Artem. I've Jen Fushnuklep. And I look over to Artem and he shakes his head at me. And I tried it again. And he shakes his head again. And the entire team's looking at me at the same time, seeing, what is Randy going to do here? And I said, well, Artem got a penalty, 2 minutes for roughing. And then I talked to him and he says, it's Ivan Yushchenkov.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I wrote it down and that was it. Well, Artem had an interesting family history as well. Artem was, his dad was the Russian Minister of Sport.
Ooh.
Great title for being in the Russian mob.
Yeah.
Okay. He was the Russian mafia. His mom came down for a game prior to Christmas, flew into Minneapolis, got snowed in Minneapolis, rented a limo to take her from Minneapolis to Sioux Falls. And I was talking to Artem before the game and I said, hey, I hear your mom's here. How about your dad? Oh, he no can be here. I said, well, what? He's on what you call no-fly list. So,
I mean, they didn't have their own private plane?
Yeah. But
oh, that's classic. Yeah. Wow. It is fun because I remember
Oh, man. No, I don't remember right now. Thank you being 62. That went past.
Mm-hmm.
It was a gal's tennis name back in the early 80s. Oh, man, I practiced that.
Oh, gracious. I'm sure I can come up with.
But all I can think of right now is Maria Sharapova. But no, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
It had way too many syllables in it. You know, there somebody should have come up with a rule years ago. You know, 7 syllables is probably enough, isn't it?
More than enough.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Now, that doesn't. I had another one for baseball.
Oh,
which I found very interesting because baseball is usually pretty simple.
True.
As long as you kind of can figure out Spanish context and some of that South America, that type of thing, you're usually in pretty good shape. We had a team from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Texas Air Hogs, and their last year of existence, this was just the year prior to 2020, they teamed up with the Beijing Shougang Eagles, the Chinese national team that was going to be playing in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And they brought over an entire team of Chinese nationals and did not provide any pronunciation guide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I believe I was at that game. Because I recall, even just the chatter of people going, well, how come they have so many?
How come there were so many Chens? Because Chen was either a first name or a last name. It didn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the other thing. You know, when it comes to some international languages, I think, one of the keys when I teach people about voice is, first of all, is there a word that looks a lot like this that you know how to pronounce?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like you said, knowing the context, because it's like, how do they enunciate their syllables?
Exactly.
Is it an up and down or a down and up and things like that? And got to go with it. And of course, the rule I always tell people, and if you're still unsure, say it fast and with authority.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So you've got some Augie baseball and softball you're filling in. Of course, Canary's going to be starting up pretty soon.
Yes.
Yeah. And how many years now?
This will be year 14.
14. Goodness gracious. Well done.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what's great is because if it is fun, then you keep going back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can build that resume even more. So when the United States hockey comes along, or curling, they'll go, pretty impressive resume here, Randy.
Yeah.
What do you think is your selling point? If somebody wants to hire you for a PA, obviously, there's a lot of just simple leads. People know about you, et cetera. But if there were a PA position open that you were thinking about and you went in for an interview, what is the sales point for, well, Randy, why should we hire you?
Energy. I think that's my signature. I can make anything sound energetic. If that means I am shouting into the microphone, then so be it. But that's my trademark with the Stampede. It's my trademark with the Canaries. And I try to be as energetic as I can, no matter what I'm doing. And there are not a lot of people that can do that.
Is there any hockey or baseball play that took place that because some people will practice particular things, but that just happened and you nailed it with the call?
Well, my calls are usually pretty simple.
Yeah.
Baseball, it's always, whatever's happening on the field. If it's a home run, it's a home run by Mike Hart.
Yeah.
Or, that's a Canaries double play.
Have you ever had a triple play?
I have had one.
Okay.
In the 14 years. I've seen one triple. No, it wasn't unassisted.
Okay.
That's still cool.
That is so cool. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. 3 outs.
Exactly. I saw a video of one just a couple days ago that happened in the majors. Weird.
Yeah. The Little League home run?
Yes.
Yeah. Wasn't that amazing? Right. What is the sport that you don't call that you would like to, since you didn't say that you do basketball at all.
Well,
so what else is out there?
I
for
was
you?
surprised that I got asked to do softball.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's significantly different than baseball, but that's
Right.
one that I really wanted to do, and I'm helping out with that now. Other than that, I think once or twice I might want to do a racing event.
Okay.
Like something out at a small track. I don't want to do Huset's or Knoxville or anything like that. But
See, I did Lake
County.
Yeah, and I've done Rock Rapids, Rapid Speedway. Things along that. Oh, and then I used to do the figure 8 races at the Turner County Fair.
Oh, there you go.
A number of years. Those are quite fun.
Did you do university up in Brookings when it was the go-kart track up there? Or?
No,
I thought maybe that would have been in your wheelhouse having worked up there.
No, I did get to do play-by-play of a couple of baseball games.
Okay.
I did quite a bit of 9-man football, and all the secondary teams that were playing said they could make more money at the radio station and give me $20 out of it.
Exactly.
But I loved calling the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, sit down. Here's a ball and a strike to so-and-so. And it's smooth.
If there's a play-by-play that I could probably do, I think it would be baseball.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just not something I've ever really wanted to do.
So you just were happy remaining as PA Extraordinaire.
I'm loving it.
Yes. You might have to put that up on the screen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, at the Canaries games. I'm sure that they have a boatload of promotions that will be going on, as they typically do. But in the next episode, which is going to be in 2 weeks, because I will be at baseball in Chicago.
Go Cubbies.
Yes, indeed. So Mr. Gaskins is going to be in. And
perfect.
I'm sure he will fill us in on everything going
He will
on.
have more than you can even possibly think about.
Yeah, in fact, I'm trying to think, can I fit another guest in that day?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
The record is 1 hour and 7 minutes. Thank you, John.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. And, you know how many drinks you have to go through on a day like that?
That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Always great to see you. Thanks for coming in once again. And, it's you've been here before.
Yes.
So we've had the question of if you're not, in entertainment, what do you like to be entertained by? But you got to have a different question now. No, I'm not going to ask that one because you'd probably say the words you just said a few minutes ago. So let's go with, what's your favorite book?
My favorite book. Gracious. I'm going to give this to a friend of mine, actually the owner of the Canaries. Wrote a book and published it a couple years ago called Win Some. And it's an life allegory based upon baseball. And it's incredibly good.
Yeah.
Kind of a book on leadership. I was really, really thrilled to get a copy of it and read it. And it spoke a lot to me.
Yeah. It's interesting. See, that's the way it is with me for baseball movies.
Yeah.
I love the allegory and everything that you can make out of it. And baseball in general is quite often, if I have to give a speech of some sort, I will use a baseball reference versus any other sport. I just love the way that it plays out. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, sir. PA Extraordinaire, Randy Preston. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dave.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. The Bill Gibson Quartet plays at Trio Jazz Club tonight at 6:30. Bill leads the trio on trombone. Matt Wallace Fusion Force returns from Omaha Friday night with shows at 6:30 and 9. Matt is a dynamic musician and makes great saxophone arrangements. Don't miss the new local group, Taco Jones, led by Joel Shotwell on saxophone and Mark Romanowski on guitar, 6:30 and 9 p.m. And then coming up next week, Brett Cooper and John Dokken play Tuesday night at 6:30. Then, in partnership with Fellowship Jazz Center, Trio is excited to host Los Angeles-based saxophonist Jason Davis.
That's Wednesday's show at 6:30. For show times and tickets, as well as more information about upcoming shows, go online at triojazzclub.com.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony don't simply provide the service, they provide professional care for your hands and feet. Whether you just want the basics or you're looking for an extra special look with an added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails on Minnesota. Call for an appointment, 605-334-1463.
And now, more of the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everyone. You know I have to say it because I wrote it into my own contract, and I'm not quite the boss. We've got Charlie, the mascot. We've got my wife that makes sure I can stay on top of everything. But regardless, it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. Fun to have returning guests and new guests. Alexondrea Thong Vahn, how are you?
I'm great.
Great. It's been a while. It's been a minute since you've been on.
Yeah. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, so great to have you.
A lot's happened.
Yes, it has. And Jen Luke, how are you?
I'm
Welcome.
fantastic.
First time guest.
We just moved back to Sioux Falls area over the summer. I lived here 10 years ago and then went on many adventures, and now I'm back.
Well, great to have you back then. And we're here to talk about something really cool. You are involved with Monstrous Little Theater, which has a show coming up called The Room Next Door or The Vibrator Play.
Yes.
Yes.
In the next room.
In the next room. And I do
also
want to point out that this is the very first co-promotional performance.
That's right.
Between Monsters Little Theater Company as well as Goodnight Theater Company.
Yes.
And so that's also exciting.
Yeah, people from both groups and all very, very talented. And it's going to be interesting to watch. What's been the feedback up to this point leading to it? Because it's a touchy subject. It's a little bit more edgy than maybe many people are used to in going to plays.
It's very vulnerable.
Right. But it's also interesting in the fact that that's one thing Monstrous has always done.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been on the edge, and they will do plays that are about topics that maybe make us a little uncomfortable. And this one, I have seen a documentary on this, and had also seen a full feature movie on this.
Cool.
And I was just like, you're kidding me. All right, so who wants to approach it first and say, here's what it's about?
So I'll start.
Okay.
So sure, it is about a lot of things. Predominantly, I do think it is about a relationship between a doctor and his wife, I think is the overarching story. But the world in which it lives is a Victorian era at the dawn of electricity, just after the end of the Civil War, where there's a lot of change happening. And this doctor is working on this new treatment for female hysteria, which is the creation of this electric vibrator.
Yeah.
And so he treats people in their home in an operating theater that's located within
the next room.
In the next room.
In the next room.
And the lead character is very intrigued by this because this is an experience that she has not had yet of attaining orgasm, right? And so that's the world in which it lives in. But I really do think at the end of the day, everything is always about relationships when we're on stage, right? But it really is between this woman and her husband and trying to figure out where they're living and what's this.
Well, just some kind of what love they have, what connection they have together, and what does desire and pleasure mean between them.
Right.
And I think at during that time period, a lot of that is just not talked about. There was just, emotions or feelings weren't often talked about. She doesn't like to open up that she cries, and he doesn't like to show his emotions. Often like you have people today.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's funny how all of this comes about, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And so, it really at the core is about just two people yearning for connection and truly being fully seen by their partner, or and being loved fully in that full encompassment.
Yeah,
way.
In an intimate way.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
And I say I feel sorry, having being a male, and for a long time when I was growing up, I was like, oh, I can't cry,
Mm-hmm.
and always for a long time into adulthood, I was just like, oh man, I can't believe, and then I thought, I feel for all the guys that don't cry.
Right.
Exactly.
And, so there are all these emotions that we all carry around with us, and we need release. We need something to help us through everything.
Yeah.
And when it comes to intimacy between a couple, yes, that's part of it. That's what everybody's looking for. But in that Victorian era, like I said, it was not talked about. And
it was the most taboo, and I think that's why this show is so fascinating, because my character, Catherine Givings, the doctor's wife, she the audience kind of can go along with her and really be there, like listening in to what is happening, trying to figure it out, piecing it together. And then
that there's all this conversation around that there's no vocabulary for the things that we are experiencing.
Right.
And the doctor at one point talks about not being able to have words for the feelings and the emotion and the love that he has. He's like, oh, no, that's for poets to figure that out. My job is to figure out medicine. And so who gets to have access to what as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
too.
Yeah, and the power, who holds the power in this partnership. And so just that relationship dynamics of not only a husband and a wife, but a doctor and his wife who opens the door and gives the tea. So secretary. And then all the people that come along with it and can kind of make it confusing. And I think but also be able to bond together in trying to figure out this taboo subject. So I think you really see these characters open up and start to talk in on stuff that we normally don't.
Yeah, that we're on the precipice of an awakening, that she is becoming awake during this show, and you're watching that, and there's a lot of struggle in there, because I don't know about you, but sometimes when I wake up, I am not okay with being awake in the day, right? And so but it's this,
is it the day that ends in Y?
No, that one again. But that there's tension in there, right? That it's not always comfortable, it's not always easy, and she's waking up and it's tricky, and she's seeing new things, and he's seeing it's lush.
Yeah. And there's so many angles to this story, including the fact, as we've talked, that it was taboo, but not only that, but women were not thought of in society in a high way by any means. There was nobody that was going to be a woman in power, but yet when it comes to intimacy, it's a partnership, and too often some will take it as not. And, that's another subject that will be covered at some point, I'm sure.
Yes.
But
because you see different, there's several different couples within this story. So then you can kind of compare and contrast those dynamics. And so I think it's really fascinating how the scientist is maybe more unconventional. And so maybe his wife is too. And maybe that's where she gets to have that wedge in of advocating for herself and really, speaking up and making that connection.
What drew you to this role? I wasn't surprised when I saw it in this role.
Well, actually, also a little monument to note. This is my first time working with Monstrous Theater Company.
Yeah,
Monstrous
because
Little Theater
you've
Company.
been...
So I'm so excited. I love just how the company does shows that aren't often told, that are very vulnerable, edgy, or very theatery. I love all of that. So I'm just so grateful to be a part of this one. I first read it while in college because we study it, as you do, with all the controversy that this one may have had. I just think women advocating for themselves and anyone advocating for their own pleasure or pleasure in general or connection is so important and isn't talked about enough. And then so to see it set in this time period and have it still connect to today is just so special. And that's what makes me so excited to see what Sioux Falls thinks of it.
Right. In terms of playing this part then, what have you learned about yourself playing it?
Probably that I definitely like to hide behind humor when being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that there's moments in this show that really works to be able to lean into and give that life. But also theater, I think, and just stepping into another character and taking on their problems and opening yourself up to that is super vulnerable. In every show, I think, in a sense, as a actor, has some sense of vulnerability. But this one cracks it wide open. This one, it's just vulnerable in such a intimate way that you often don't see on stage. There's so many scenes that are just private moments, moments that happen behind closed doors. The journey to the big climax or fight or conflict or solution. So it's really beautiful. It's really rich. I really love the playwright Sarah role. So I'm, like I said, grateful and just happy to be a part of it, learn and grow.
All right. Jen, as director, is this something that was on your radar at any point?
This has absolutely been a bucket list show ever since I read it, right? And so that we've got layers upon layers upon layers, right? That there's physical and a lot of really, really big physicality that needs to happen in this show that is important to telling of that story. And I want to give a really big shout out to, we do have an intimacy choreographer, Whitney Rapana, and she has absolutely killed it in creating a safe space for actors and being able to make sure that everybody is being honored and seen, and boundaries are also being honored as well, and making sure that all of that is working really seamlessly. And this is my first time as a director working with a choreographer, an intimacy choreographer, not a regular choreographer,
right,
of course, but and it's been a really eye-opening experience for that. I'm also personally interested in this story. My husband is a physician, and so looking at these relationships within within finites and evidence-based things and all of the rectilinear look at the world, as opposed to my more wavy lines and creative and, right brain, left brain sorts of scenarios is been an interesting thing to look at. And so that is also something that is exciting and interesting and compelling for this story for me personally as well.
So tell us about the rest of the cast and how did it all come together in terms of casting this and making sure that you had the right people in the right parts.
Right. So it's been really wild for me coming back to South Dakota because I had been gone for so long, working in theaters, other places in the country. And so I called up Debbie Jones one day and I was like, Debbie Jones, I owe you a cup of coffee. Let's see what's happening. And she was like, you know what? I've got this super exciting project coming up. I was like, this is fantastic. And I knew a lot of, the people in different leadership positions with different theaters around town, but I knew zero actors anymore. That all of the actors that not all of them, but many of the actors that I'd worked with previously had kind of gone on to different things. And so it was like, Debbie, who do we have that are going to play these amazing parts? And so I was a little nervous, about who's going to show up, because for anybody that's ever been on the casting side of the table, you're just as nervous as the people on the acting side of the table, even though it doesn't seem that way. But wanting to make sure that the stories and the voices are lifted up in a way that, kind of meets the vision, right? And so we got Nathan Sparks playing Dr. Givings, and he has this measured way of approaching that character that is really hitting his skill set in a really fun way. Emily Wilson is beyond being a hilarious performer, with improv falls and with the bodies and all the things. She has a level of commitment that is, she makes things happen and she makes things move forward. And her character just happened to have to play piano, and she also does that. So I could have
star,
right? And then Tony Falk is Mr. Daldry, playing against Emily as her husband. And he has this cool energy that is very outside. Very outside of the other male characters on stage. And you can't talk about the male characters on stage without talking about Bob Wendland, who comes in as the artist Leo Irving and just
shock.
Right, as the artist. And but he is playing so counter to all of these heady guys that he's got this very different energy, and it's so much fun to watch. And then we have Annie, played by Whitney Olam, who is new back to town, USF grad, but left for, again, 10 plus years, and is recently back in the community. She has a professional history of helping women achieve and work towards their sexual best life. I'm not exactly
empowerment.
Sexual empowerment. Yeah. And so she's been a fantastic resource bringing into the space, because it's her current role is very much a modern day counter to this historic moment. Right. And so working with women to find their, and men too. She's like, yeah, there were men in my class today. Working towards, that sexual empowerment.
And connecting with your body and breath, very like homeopathic, somatic breathing.
Yes, all the
I think Conscious Connections is where she works. They just opened up downtown.
Yeah. Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. And then Etta McKinley is playing Elizabeth, who is wet nurse in for Catherine, for Mrs. Givings, who is unable to nurse her own baby. And so having that relationship there has been really interesting. So yeah. We've just got an all-star cast.
Very much all-star cast.
Right? Yeah. I got so lucky. and the level of talent that is in this cast is pushing me to become a better director. And I am very, very thankful for that.
What is it that makes a good cast? I mean, you've got the individual, but how do they come together? And everybody goes, man, the chemistry on stage was just incredible.
Right. I mean, I think that it is due to the content of the show. The people that were drawn to audition for the show do have a similar outlook, right, of what needs to happen to create this story. And we talk. I love to talk. And in the directing process, we really like to get into the heads of these characters, and so we're really creating conversations about how do these characters connect with each other, and so creating the understanding of who these characters are is in this process creating that bond together. So your character knows what your counter character is thinking and feeling and how they're operating that way. And so, that's a really big part of my process that I think is essential in creating honesty and truth on stage, which is, always what you want to see, right?
Yeah. Dates, times, location?
Yeah, the dates and times are a week from Thursday. So that's the 7th, 8th, and 9th at 7 o'clock. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. And where will that take place?
At the Belbis.
At the Belbis, okay.
At the Washington
8th,
Pavilion.
9th, and 10th.
8th, 9th, and 10th. I am so sorry.
All good, I believe.
Yeah, it
right?
works. Yeah, I know. I believe we're going to Saturday night.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be lovely. Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
At the Belbis, it's a really beautiful space.
Yes, it is.
In addition to acting, Bob is our set designer for this production. And then artistic director for Monstrous, Jeff Larson, is doing our lights. And so, and in the dawning of the age of electricity, lighting is very important. So
very true. So Alexondrea. Alexandria. I like doing the all.
It's always good to add a little flair.
Yeah, I like flair. And
too.
You certainly add that.
Thank you.
To any role that I have seen you in. And you have been busy since the last time. I believe the first time you had just finished Blood Brothers.
Yeah, I think so.
And man, I mean, that was so powerful.
Thank you.
Everybody's performance in that, I think that's the first time I've ever had crocodile tears while staying silent, and it just,
wow.
The emotions.
Strong man cry with the the jaw and the.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you. That's high praise.
And
that was my first leading role in a musical ever.
Yeah.
So
nailed it.
Thanks.
But every
Up
time
from there.
since, because it was a starting point for me watching you. Then it's like, okay. Well, what's she going to do in the next character? And it just keeps getting better.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what's been taking place that you go, wow, I so enjoyed that. I want to do it again.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get enough. I mean, it's just, this is what I love to do. I think it just makes me feel like a better, well-rounded person. It mixes up my emotions and spits them out into someone else's problem that feels better than focusing on my own. I'm definitely drawn to acting as like a form of escapism. And I don't know. I find it fascinating to dig into all different characters with different backgrounds, different upbringings, different time periods. So each one, I find a new challenge. I was thinking this is my first period piece, but I was in Salem with Goodnight Theater Collective. That was my first period piece, but it was a musical. So I can say this is my first period piece that's a straight play. So, excited to be in the 1800s. Like, I was in Salem, but I was in more rags, washed clothes. So this is a different vibe.
Yeah.
Pouring tea. And I have a bustle in the back.
I have the
in a
feeling,
corset.
Yeah. Fun stuff there, huh?
Definitely.
You get to breathe.
And the course, and the course that's come on, and the course that's come off, and the course that's come on.
The corset has choreography.
Wow.
She's an actor all on her own.
Yeah.
I would guess that if I were to ask you what it feels like to step on stage, it'd be very much like what I do with this. Because my love asked me one time, she said, when are you the happiest? Mm-hmm. And I told her, well, aside from the time that I'm with you, I said, it's when I go in 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
And then this begins.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm in my groove then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, what about you? When it comes to directing, especially, what's that moment that you go, oh man, I love doing this?
It is when there is that portion of escapism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't, I would be remiss if I did not say that there is something very delightful about creating a very controlled world. Right? Yeah. That I'm like, okay, great. Let's look at it this way. And then that we know what's happening, but it's more than that. It's adding, it's the painting, and it's the telling of a really great story, and making sure that everybody is looking their best, not just physically, but like that they are showing their very best performance, that they're very proud of the work that they've been able to do, as well as, gosh, we just live in this world where so much of the time we're moving through it and trying desperately not to feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we're buying things so we don't feel something, or we're eating things so we don't feel something. We're drinking, we're trying so desperately not to be connected to that heart space. And how great is it to be able to make somebody feel something, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe learn something about themselves too. And all the way at the very end of the day, it's creating community. That I was active in the theater community 10, 13 years ago. And man, good job, everybody.
Yeah.
You get we were moving back to South Dakota, and I was like, man, I don't know what kind of landscape I'm moving into. Have I peaked already, and professionally and coming back, and there's so many amazing, cool projects happening and
talent.
And yes. And then to come back and have the opportunity to direct a work like this, like, man, we are doing important and very, very cool things around here. And I'm just so excited that Monstrous and Goodnight had the idea that, yes, audiences in Sioux Falls are ready for the show.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
ready.
exciting.
And I am ready to give them a really great show.
All right. Coming up a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the Belbus Theater.
Yes.
All right. Thank you both. But you both have one more question to go yet.
Okay.
Actually, yours is a two-parter, Jen, because you're a first-time guest.
I'm nervous.
Alexondrea has answered this before.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, you
We'll
get a
go back
different
to the
question, though.
archives.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the archives and see how you answered.
All right. So when you are not involved in arts and entertainment, what do you like to be entertained by?
Ooh, what do I like to? I've got two small children that are endlessly entertaining, and I am entertained by my two wild, feral children, and they are a delight. They're an absolute delight.
All right. Any other hobbies?
So when we moved back, we bought a very beautiful acreage outside of town. And so right now I'm putting up fence, getting ready for sheep. And so, we're going to be getting some sheep.
Is the hobby fence or sheep?
Well, right now the hobby's fence. But we're getting some sheep, and I saw pictures of our lambs. We're getting some lambs, and then that is kind of our big other thing. What I'm looking forward to is starting to build more puppetry into this performing arts community. Because that is something that has a big part of my creative soul.
Oh, so, we must talk.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm here. No,
all right. Alexondrea, when it comes to you, you've answered those questions before, so you now get, what is your mantra, word, or phrase?
Ooh, lately, you can do hard things.
Love it.
You can do hard things.
Yeah.
We can do hard things.
Yes, we can.
And sometimes it's not that hard, but sometimes it's really hard.
And then it takes my mantra to encourage other people to do so, because mine is compliment. Yeah. I love to compliment people, because let's say it's only 2 or 3 seconds out of their day that they smiled because they have something else going on and don't, know that the world still cares. And so compliment. So thank you both. You're wonderful. Appreciate it. And enjoy your time on stage and off stage directing.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're quite welcome. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or exokairos.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Hot? No. Cute? No. Ruggedly handsome? Yes. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, Randy Preston and Alexondrea Thong Vahn and Jen Luke. Thank you for the downloads and social sharing. This show had a great past 2 weeks in terms of the numbers. I was blown away by it. A reminder, no show next week. I'll be getting home from vacation, going to Chicago, catch a couple of night games at Wrigley Field. Also have some deep dish pizza and I'm sure a few Chicago dogs as well. I encourage you to find your art. Find the art you enjoy, find the art you're interested in trying, and we'll see you in the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Art South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at DaveHollyHour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening